A new world superpower is rising to challenge the United States and the other English-speaking nations. It will affect your life. The United States will not continue to be the world's preeminent power. What will happen? Who is this superpower? Could a dreaming king, a slave, and an ancient prophecy spanning 2,500 years hold a key to understanding what's next? On this edition of Beyond Today, we'll answer those questions and more as we discuss the next world superpower.
Join our host Steve Myers and his guests as they help you understand your future on Beyond Today.
America is losing its grasp as the world superpower. Even if you don't live here, a change in America's status will affect you. When you think of a world-dominant power, what comes to mind?
If you had to say what exactly a superpower is, how would you describe that?
One that just has, I would think, has great influence in the world and more or less can do pretty much what it wants to do without too much interference from other countries.
They'd have to have enough military force to impose their superpower or enough financial force to impose that one way or another. So I think anything sort of meets those criteria, any country or group.
No doubt, the U.S. has had financial and military force to greatly influence the world. But that's already changing. You don't have to look very far to see that America is losing its supremacy. Just consider her enormous debt, over $17 trillion. Now, if you divided that between every citizen, that would be over $54,000 for every man, woman, and child. No wonder this coming dominant system will bring a massive power shift that will change your whole perspective on government and authority. Now, who will replace the United States as the world's global leader? Does the Bible have anything to say about it? We'll see that in just a moment.
Is there a nation in mind that you think could be the next world dominant power?
Everybody's vying to be that. You know, everybody wants to be the top dog. Probably Russia.
China. I would think maybe China. Great Britain, definitely.
But maybe somewhere more exotic, like Australia.
China. And that's just because they're starting to become a U.S. slowly but surely. I mean, they're already getting all our work, so.
We thought it was going to be Japan in the 90s because of their economy. And now everyone's saying, well, it's going to be China because of their economy, but I don't know.
But is it possible to know? Where can you look to find clues for the future of our world? Now, this isn't just a simple change in government, some minor political thing. This coming superpower will impact you and your family, how you live, how you work, and even how you'll survive. Now, could an ancient Bible prophecy have any impact? Now, be careful not to think that world superpowers are just related to our modern world. Nations have risen and fallen throughout time. But does God have anything to say about history and the future? Some aren't so sure.
Do you think that the Bible could have any impact in predicting who the next superpower might be?
I think that would be a pretty far-stretched interpretation.
Not at all. I don't necessarily know anything about the Bible either, but I don't think so.
Do you think there's any possibility that the Bible might have something to say about the next superpower?
No.
Even though it may not seem that God's in the picture, He is. More than you might imagine. He inspired His prophets to predict people, places, and events hundreds of years before they occurred. And those predictions came true. He gives many examples throughout the Bible. Do you believe prophecy will impact your life?
Do you think that the Bible could predict who the next superpower nation would be?
Probably. If I knew a lot about that. I'm no help to you. I tell you.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it does predict.
Do you think it's possible that the Bible might predict the next superpower nation?
there is a possibility. I mean, I believe in the Bible, and I would like to think so. However, I don't know the answer to that.
If you believe in the Bible, you don't have to be unsure. It's possible to know the answer. If you're willing to pay close attention to prophecy, God tells us, "Remember the things I've done in the past, for I alone am God. I am God, and there is none like me. Only I can tell you the future before it even happens." Now that's an amazing statement. You see, God challenges all of us to count on Him because He's made predictions about nations and powers in the past, and they came about. We can believe what He tells us that's yet to come. In the New Testament, we're told we regard the words of the prophets as confirmed beyond all doubt. You're doing well by paying attention to their words. Continue to pay attention. Instead of doubt, you can have confidence in God and the biblical prophets if you're willing to pay attention to what they say, even when it comes to governments, nations, and rulers.
Do you think that the Bible could predict the next superpower?
It probably already has. I haven't really read it extensively to where I got to the point where I've seen that for myself or interpreted it, but I'm sure it's in there.
Do you think that the Bible could predict who the next superpower nation might be?
I am sure if you read into the Bible and you wanted to find that answer there, you could find that answer. I think you could find almost anything you are really looking for in the Bible if you dig deep enough.
The answers are found in your Bible. Don't you think it's time to dig deeper? You can find the clues to the coming superpower and its impact on you. Now here's a way you can dig deeper into the subject. I'd like to send you something brand new. Order your free copy of The Final Superpower at beyondtoday.tv or call 1-888-886-8632. We've never offered this study aid before, and we only have a limited number of copies available in print. Once we run out, the Final Superpower Study Guide will only be available as an electronic download. If you request it right now, you can have this limited edition full-color booklet in print at no cost at all. You need this guide to help you dig deeper in your study and understanding of Bible prophecy. Get your free copy now online at beyondtoday.tv or request your free copy to be sent to your home by calling 1-888-886-8632. That's 1-888-886-8632. If you live outside North America, please write us at the address shown on your screen throughout the program for your copy of The Final Superpower. Let's see how a dreaming king, a slave boy, and an ancient prophecy holds a key to how the next superpower will affect you. That key is found in the book of Daniel. You're probably familiar with the story of Daniel in the lion's den. It's that same Daniel. Daniel was taken captive as a teenager, captured by the Babylonians. Babylon was the dynasty of the day, a world-ruling empire dominated by a powerful dictator by the name of King Nebuchadnezzar. The king started having dreams that frightened him, that worried him so much he couldn't even sleep. He called in all the Babylonian magicians, the sorcerers, fortune tellers, his advisors, to explain what his dreams meant. Now imagine the scene. They came and lined up before the great king and said, "O great king, tell us your dream, and we'll interpret it." Nebuchadnezzar didn't become the leader of that Babylonian superpower by being naive. So he told them, "You're supposed to be the great men of mysterious magic, and you say you have a direct connection with the gods, so you tell me the dream. Then I'll believe your interpretation." Well, they couldn't do it. This made the king so angry and so furious that he gave the order to execute all the advisors in Babylon. Now that command from the ultimate ruler of the world superpower included Daniel and his companions too. Well, Daniel didn't know what the king had dreamed either. So he and his friends prayed to God for mercy and understanding so he could know and explain this mysterious dream. Now, this isn't just a kiddie story from the Bible. Imagine how strange it may have seemed to Daniel, and perhaps seems strange to you too, that it actually has something to do with your life, even today. We'll get to that connection in just a moment. Well, God answered their prayer and gave understanding to the king's dream. Daniel praised God, saying, "You control human events. You give rulers their power and take it away, and you are the source of wisdom and knowledge." Daniel knew that God's in charge. He oversees the rulers and superpowers of this world. He understood that it was true then, and it's still true today. The young captive reports to the king that this is a special prophecy. God's revealing what will happen in the future. So Daniel explains that the king saw a vision of a huge, terrifying statue that was shimmering and gleaming brightly. Its head was made of pure gold. Its chest and arms were silver. Its belly and thighs were bronze. Its legs were made of iron, and its feet were a mixture of iron and clay. Now, can you imagine that king's surprise when he heard exactly what he'd been dreaming about? Now Daniel had his attention. What could it mean to the king? What does it mean for your life? Daniel tells Nebuchadnezzar, as the ruler of that superpower of the day, "You, O king, have command, strength, and control. You are the head of gold." So now it becomes clear that the different sections of the statue represent different world-ruling empires, different superpowers. The silver, bronze, iron, all the parts of the statue represented future dominant kingdoms that were to come to power after Babylon. This dream was inspired by God and provided an amazing preview of what was to come. So today, we can look back in time and determine which superpowers correspond to the different sections of the statue, just as God said it would. Babylon, it ruled the Middle East for generations until mighty Persia conquered them in one night. The silver chest with 2 arms symbolized that empire of the Medes and the Persians. This silver empire was the superpower in the Mideast for about 2 centuries. Next, history tells us Alexander the Great came and swallowed up Persia. The belly and thighs of bronze represented his Greco-Macedonian empire. He came like a flood, conquering the known world, and the Greeks ruled for some 300 years. The legs? Those legs of iron represented the next great kingdom, the Roman Empire. The iron fist of the Roman legions united parts of Europe, the Middle East, North Africa, and became the greatest empire the world had ever known up to that time. I hope you'll look into what history records. Our free study guide was designed to help you, so when you do check it out, you'll find that history definitely records this sequence of kingdoms. All of them were superpowers of their day. God was right. He was right about the past, and He's right about what's to come. Now we're getting closer to our era. The pieces of the puzzle are falling into place for prophecy to be fulfilled in our lifetime. Up next, we'll see that God predicted that the Roman Empire would become divided and eventually become a mixture of strength and weakness, feet and toes of iron mixed with clay. But what does that have to do with you? We want to help you discover what lies ahead with our free study aid, the Final Superpower. This helpful guide will help you understand past prophecy and what God promises for the future. But keep in mind, we're offering this special Bible study aid in print for only a limited time. After that, it will only be available electronically online. So if you'd like a copy sent right to your mailbox, be sure and call us toll-free 1-888-886-8632. Do it today while printed copies are still in stock. When you order the Final Superpower, we'll also send you a free subscription to the Good News magazine. 6 times a year, you'll receive valuable articles to help you understand not only Bible prophecy, but this will give you insight as to what the Bible really teaches and how you can make sense of it. It will help you use Scripture as a guide to grasp the meaning of prophecy and the challenging issues you're facing. So call us toll-free, 1-888-886-8632. That's 1-888-886-8632. Or write us at the address shown on your screen throughout the program. Thanks to the generous support of members of the United Church of God and viewers like you, we provide all our materials absolutely free of charge. You can also read the Final Superpower and the Good News Magazine online at beyondtoday.tv. Now you may be wondering, where is America in this vision of the statue? The United States, after all, is the most powerful nation that's ever existed. So shouldn't it be in this prophecy of King Nebuchadnezzar's dream? Well, this prophecy is described in several ways throughout the book of Daniel. We saw that it was precisely accurate in describing the empires of Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome. But when it comes to America, it's not mentioned in the prophetic dream. Why? The prophecy shows the succession of empires that followed one after another. America didn't originate from Rome. Those kingdoms swallowed up and incorporated the characteristics of the earlier empires, and so will the next great superpower. But America, Great Britain, the English-speaking peoples come from a different sequence of events, one that isn't tied to the Roman Empire. This vision doesn't focus on the United States. Now, there are many Bible prophecies that do tell us specifically about America, but we'll have to discuss that in another program. Even though America today exports billions of dollars of machinery, technology, pharmaceuticals, and even though she's now the world's largest exporter of oil and gas, this prophecy shows it won't last. It tells us that she'll be greatly affected by the next power.
Do you think then that America is on the decline?
Yeah, I would say so in some cases. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Seems like there's a lot of turmoil in our government and such, and with some of our overseas activities. So, I think that in the past it was a lot better, and lately, we've seen a bit of a decline.
I think all nations right now are struggling, so I don't believe the United States is on a decline any more than any other nation. Do I think they're falling behind? No.
Do you think it even matters? Does it even matter who the next big nation will be?
Yeah, I think it matters.
Why do you think it would matter?
Because it's going to determine what happens in the future.
She's right. It will determine the future, not only for that powerful nation, but it will impact everyone. The Bible predicts that the next superpower will turn your world upside down. It will change the world's sources of food and technology. There will be a major shift in politics, finances, and foreign policy, and every person will be affected, not in a good way. Amazingly, it's been predicted in the dream of Nebuchadnezzar. Here's what the dream does tell us. Now, this is important. The next world superpower will be connected to the Roman Empire, like toes to feet, to ankles, to legs. As odd as it may sound, Daniel's prophecy reveals that the fourth kingdom, the Roman Empire, will exist in some form even today, right up to the end of the age. So where can you find out more about this next superpower? Can you identify where it will come from and what type of government it will be? Some may think there's a chance that a new world government will bring lasting peace and hope.
It'd be lovely, idealistic, but lovely if the United Nations or something like that could really have some teeth and could say this is the way it's going to be and we'll all decide as one big democracy. However, that's probably wishful thinking, at least in this century.
According to the Bible, that is wishful thinking. But he's right in one way. That coming government will really have some teeth, but its bite will hurt. Did you know that more details of this next super kingdom are found in the book of Revelation? In chapter 13, this coming powerhouse government is represented by an animal. Not just any animal, but a fierce beast. It describes a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The coming superpower has characteristics like those ancient empires. In order to maintain command and control, Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome, they use their biting power to attack, oppress, and enslave. So will the approaching beast power. In order to understand the forecast and vision in Revelation, you've got to understand Daniel. Our free study aid will help you make the connection between this beast in Revelation and the 10 toes in Nebuchadnezzar's dream. The Bible predicts that dominating government will be an alliance, a federation of presidents or kings that voluntarily give their authority to the beast. Why? Prosperity. To find a solution to our world's economic problems. Now, it might sound far-fetched, but you don't have to look too far to find a fairly recent example of this. Adolf Hitler. He saw himself connected to the Holy Roman Empire, calling his rule the Third Reich, meaning realm or empire. The Great Depression brought economic upheaval to Germany and Europe. Hitler claimed to have the answer. For a time, Germany roared back to life with jobs, wealth, and power. But the final result? World War II. Over 60 million people killed, intense suffering, concentration camps. Yet Hitler is only a frightening foretaste of what's to come. It gives us a disturbing preview of what's ahead, a destructive empire represented by the 10 toes in the vision, that coming beast power that will shock the world. That empire will cause America, Britain, and the English-speaking peoples to suffer in even more devastating ways. That's a scary, fearful vision, as this man warned.
I would advise everybody to get their house in order and get it done now before it's too late.
That's good advice. This next superpower, it will become a terrible system that will affect you, your household, and the entire world. But only for a short time. You know, it's not all doom and gloom. You can have hope for the future. Why? Because Nebuchadnezzar's dream didn't end with the image of gold, silver, bronze, and iron. Let's go back to Daniel chapter 2 and pick up the rest of the story in verse 34. You watched while a stone was cut without hands, which struck the image on its feet of iron and clay and broke them in pieces. And the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. That towering statue represented human government and corrupt rulers that will finally come to an end. And in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. It shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. The coming evil superpower will ultimately be destroyed by that stone representing Jesus Christ. He will return and smash the governments of this world. Jesus Christ and His kingdom will replace man's empires, and it will grow into a great mountain that fills the whole world. Now that's a real, literal kingdom that Jesus Christ will set up on earth. So finally, that nightmare of fear will turn into a dream come true. God's great kingdom, right here on earth. It won't be the next superpower, but it will be the final one. Now that is good news. In the end, Daniel's prophecy gives us hope. Even though you face troubled times, you don't have to be troubled in mind or in heart. You can have true hope and optimism if you base it on knowing God, growing closer to Him now, really getting to know Him. So take advantage of this opportunity that God gives you to understand His plan, keep His commandments, love Him. Isn't it time to fully choose His way of life? That's a choice that brings true happiness and joy, a real hope for the future. Remember our free offers today. When you order the free study aid, The Final Superpower, we'll also send you a free subscription to our magazine, The Good News. The Good News will help you increase your faith in Jesus Christ and know where to place your trust in this worrisome world. Call us 1-888-886-8632. That's 1-888-886-8632. Or go online to download your free copy at beyondtoday.tv. Now today, you've heard the truth of the gospel of the kingdom of God. Are you doing anything with the biblical understanding you're receiving? Are you changing how you live? I hope you'll make a commitment to God for the sake of your future. It's up to you. What's your next step? Now, we'd be happy to hear from you. We have over 200 congregations in cities across America, dozens more throughout Canada, and in all major cities in Australia, not to mention countries around the globe. We have qualified pastors and counselors who would love to help you in your Christian journey as a disciple of Jesus Christ. Go to beyondtoday.tv, click on the Contact tab, and find a congregation near you. Call one of our pastors and share your story with us. We're here to help. We also hope you'll join us every day for BT Daily. BT Daily is our video blog, and every day we hope you'll tune in, come to beyondtoday.tv, where you can find extra inspiration. You can find words about prophecy, things that can help you in your everyday life. So come to beyondtoday.tv for our daily video blog, BT Daily. God certainly fulfilled His prophecies in the past, and you can count on the fact that He will bring about what He's promised for the future. He wants you to be ready and be watchful. He forecasts difficult times ahead that will reach proportions that have never been seen before in history. But there is hope. God promises that the final superpower coming to this earth is a government that will not fail. God's sending Jesus Christ back, not as a baby in a manger, but as a conquering king to establish His kingdom. The good news is you can be a part of the final superpower, God's great kingdom. Make the choice. Be fully committed. Commit your life to Jesus Christ. Follow His example. Follow His commandments. Follow in His footsteps. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to tell your family and friends about Beyond Today. Tune in again next week and join us in praying, Thy Kingdom Come. For Beyond Today, I'm Steve Myers. Thanks for watching.
For the free literature offered on today's program, go online to beyondtoday.tv. Please join us again next week on Beyond Today.